It really sucks making this video. It honestly does. The fact that we are even in this reality right now is just unfortunate. I remember watching Man of Steel for the first time with my dad and just having my mind blown. Having one film change my entire perception of a superhero icon. I remember watching Batman v Superman and loving every second of it, only to let online discourse and negativity convince me the movie was hot garbage, leading to me discovering my love for it years later. Suicide Squad was the thing. Wonder Woman gave me chills. I got even more chills seeing the Justice League on the big screen for the first time, despite how questionable that film was. I fucking loved Aquaman. Me and my sister had a blast watching Shazam. Birds of Prey kicked ass. I was one of 3 people who adored Wonder Woman 1984. Zack Snyder's Justice League changed my life of how unbelievably perfect it was and inspired me like no other film has. And the Suicide Squad was nothing short of a masterpiece. The DCEU has been in pieces. We know this, I know this, you know this. With movies that flopped, harsh fan and critical backlash, conflicting visions, and especially studio interference, this universe has been fractured and disjointed for years. But I've had a ton of good memories of this universe. I've gotten attached to this universe. And despite how infinitely more successful the MCU has been, I've defended the DCEU for years. Because this universe is special to me. Everything that Snyder contributed, everything that others contributed, the DCEU was great. And now all of that, everything I just mentioned, is being reset. The actors, the story I've loved over the years, these amazing depictions of the characters, everything is gone. And I'm not happy about it. I have no ill will against James Gunn, and neither should you. He's an amazing filmmaker, and everything he's doing right now, whether we agree with it or not, is for DC's best interest. Did he have to hard reset the whole thing? Of course not. But if he's confident a fresh start is the only way this universe can fully thrive under he and Safran's vision, then I have faith. It's not what I would have done, but I'm a college kid on the internet furiously typing away at my keyboard about superhero movies. There's a reason I'm not the one right now in charge of the DC Cinematic Universe. Because I'm not a filmmaker, let alone an extraordinary one. This video isn't to send hate to James Gunn because unfortunately, Lord knows there is enough of that. This video is to talk about what went wrong and condemn the true culprits who led to this. The people who made one decision that sent the DCEU as we know it tumbling down. That being Warner Brothers' decision to fire Zack Snyder. I already know what a lot of you will think having heard that sentence. Oh, this guy is just a Snyder cultist. There is no way I'm going to take him seriously. If you are this type of person, I'm going to tell you something. Are you ready? I love Man of Steel, Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition, and Zack Snyder's Justice League, respectively. Not a shock, right? Well, I also love the Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey, and Wonder Woman 1984. But this shouldn't make sense, right? Snyder cultists are only allowed to like Zack's work, and all they do is shit on everything else. Well, that's the thing. I'm not what you would call a Snyder cultist, and neither are the thousands of people who like Zack's work who are generalized with the most toxic individuals who share their movie taste. I'm just one regular guy who loves superheroes and thought Zack's trilogy was exceptional. Feel free to disagree, they're not for everybody, but to immediately disregard what I have to say because of my opinion on superhero flicks is just dumb as shit. I think that's a lesson a lot of Snyder fans should learn too. Look, I'm not saying Warner Brothers firing Zack led to every movie afterward being garbage. The only 2 movies in the entirety of the DCEU I don't like is Suicide Squad and Whedon's Justice League. Even with Zack no longer on board, I was still loving this universe and could have by all means carried on without his involvement thanks to other talented filmmakers who were picking up where he left off. But Zack's firing made 2 things very clear. One, Man of Steel and BVS was setting up some obvious plot threads, and without the creator of those movies, well, it makes it really awkward for the storytellers after him to continue whatever he was setting up, making the universe feel disjointed and awkward. And 2, nobody had a plan of where things should go. Zack Snyder was the only one a part of the team who had a complete roadmap of where he wanted key events to happen and was open to incorporating spin-offs into this plan. With him gone, guys, nobody knew what the fuck to do, and it showed. The Justice League, DC's equivalent to the fucking Avengers, were a complete no-show. Butchering Zack's movie did nothing but cause it to fail critically and financially, and Warner Brothers, learning the wrong lesson, brilliantly decides to not use them again. The Justice League, by the way. Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Flash were going to get films, but you know who wasn't? Batman and Superman, the 2 most popular DC characters, just gets completely abandoned. Sure, we got the Batman, which was a great film, but that's not relevant to this topic since it's not even canon to the universe. It's its own separate thing. Also, nothing with Green Lantern, who's another DC heavy hitter. Guess who had plans for that character? No plans for Darkseid aside from a cancelled solo movie that sounded abysmal. No plans to use Lex or Deathstroke. Nothing. It's almost like the universe was on hold and we were just in this awkward phase where nobody knew where to go. The one guy who had a plan is gone, and Warner Bros. Didn't have the balls to try and build off his foundation, so the DCEU literally lost its identity and direction, with films being planned and cancelled left and right, a film being filmed and being cancelled, and just so much chaos. So obviously James Gunn wants to reboot this shit. Everything is just so disconnected. All because of Warner Bros. Studios' interference and a lack of faith in their own characters. This is about way more than Zack's vision being compromised and forgotten. This is about the dangers of studio meddling. Man of Steel, while receiving a mixed critical response, resonated well with general audiences and was left alone by the studio. Batman v Superman was received horribly, and mainly because the theatrical cut that Warner Bros. Was in charge of was missing important scenes that caused the film to make no goddamn sense. And by the time the Ultimate Edition was out, people were so angry it didn't even matter that most of the issues and criticisms were addressed in that version. And don't get me started on the entire Justice League situation, which led to one of the biggest train wrecks in DC's history. If Warner Bros. Would have just stepped back and allowed Zack to tell his story, we would have gotten a Justice League 3 by now. We would have had so many badass movies that all coincide with each other perfectly, with different filmmakers' influence and creative input fueling it even further. The 4-hour-long epic we got in 2021 on HBO Max could have been a 3-hour-long epic that released on the big screen and paved the way for an epic universe. But we didn't get that. No, what we got was disappointing news after disappointing news and great solo films that also so happen to be canon to other great solo films. I'm sure this new universe James Gunn and Peter Safran have planned is going to be great. No, I'm certain. But a part of me won't enjoy it as much as I won't because I'll always be bitter about what could have been. I'll always be bitter that we were so close to seeing these versions of the characters truly ascend into something amazing. I'll always be bitter when I go back and watch Zack Snyder's Justice League and realize how this was supposed to be the start of something spectacular. I'll always be bitter that the movies I've made so many memories with since 2013 are going to die on a whimper as opposed to a giant climactic spectacle that they deserve. I'll always be bitter we'll never see Henry Cavill's Superman, Ben Affleck's Batman, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, Jason Momoa's Aquaman, Ezra Miller's Flash, or Ray Fisher's Cyborg ever again. But you know what they say, never be sad that something is gone, be glad that it happened in the first place. Man of Steel, BVS, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Shazam, Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman 1984, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and The Suicide Squad are movies I'll be able to rewatch forever, and I'm thankful for that, even though I'm also a little disappointed there won't be more. But what do you guys think of all of this? Let me know in the comments. Also, be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this little rant of mine. With that said, I will see you guys next time. Peace out.